Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And do subscribe our YouTube and Telegram channels. Now let's start our discussion.
Welcome to English Lecture Notes. Today we came up with the summary of the short story, The Three Questions, written by Leo Tolstoy. The Three Questions is a 1903 short story by Russian author Leo Tolstoy, as part of the collection, What Men Live By and Other Tales. The story is about a king who wants to know the answers of the three questions, so as to get enlightenment. The three questions were: what was the right time for every action? Who were the right people to be with? What was the most important thing to do? Many learned men attempted to answer the king's questions, but they all came up with different answers. He is not satisfied with these answers. The king decided that he needed to ask a wise hermit in a nearby village. The hermit would only see common folk, however, so the king disguised himself as a peasant and left his guards behind to see the hermit. While he went there, the hermit was digging flower beds when the king arrived. The king asked his questions, but the hermit went on digging rather laboriously. The king offered to dig for him for a while. After digging for some time, the king again asked his questions. Before the hermit could answer, a man emerged from the woods. He was bleeding from a terrible stomach wound. The king tended to him, and they stayed the night in the hermit's hut. By the next day, the wounded man was doing better, but was incredulous at the help he had received. The man confessed that he knew who the king was and that the king had executed his brother and seized his property. He had come to kill the king, but the guards wounded him in the stomach. The man pledged allegiance to the king, asked for forgiveness and went on his way. The king tended to him, and they stayed the night in the hermit's hut. By the next day, the wounded man was doing better, but was incredulous at the help he had received. The man confessed that he knew who the king was and that the king had executed his brother and seized his property. He had come to kill the king, but the guards wounded him in the stomach. The man pledged allegiance to the king, asked for forgiveness and went on his way. The king approached the hermit and said, "For the last time, I pray you to answer my questions, wise man." "You have already been answered," said the hermit, still crouching on his thin legs, and looking up at the king, who stood before him. "How answered? What do you mean?" asked the king. "Do you not see?" replied the hermit. "If you had not pitied my weakness yesterday, and had not dug these beds for me, but had gone your way, that man would have attacked you, and you would have repented of not having stayed with me. So the most important time was when you were digging the beds. And I was the most important man, and to do me good was your most important business. Afterwards, when that man ran to us, the most important time was when you were attending to him, for if you had not bound up his wounds, he would have died without having made peace with you. So he was the most important man, and what you did for him was your most important business. Remember then, there is only one time that is important, that is, now. It is the most important time because it is the only time when we have any power. the most necessary person is the one with whom you are, for no man knows whether he will ever have dealings with anyone else, and the most important affair is to do that person good, because for that purpose alone was man sent into this life. In the three questions by Leo Tolstoy, we have the theme of wisdom, knowledge, awareness, kindness, forgiveness, and acceptance. Tolstoy may be exploring the theme of wisdom. Moral lesson in this story can be found in the answers of the three questions that the king made. First, the most important time is now, because like what the hermits say, it is the only time when we have any power, and now is the only time that we can act. Secondly, person with you is most important, and lastly, most important thing to do is doing good to those who is with you.
That's all for today. If you find this video informative, please do subscribe our channel and don't forget to click the bell icon to get the notification of our coming videos. Thank you for watching.